Hi there. Welcome to today's episode of the Business Clinic. We're going to be talking about 5 techniques that you can deploy in your business to get your customers to say yes to your offer. But first, before we run too fast or before we delve into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and ensure that you turn on post notifications so you're the first to know each time we have the Business Clinic running. So back to today's discussion. Techniques that you need to use to get your customers to say yes. Why do you even need to worry about getting your customers to say yes? More so, having to worry about techniques that you use. Now, let's not forget the reason why you're in business. You have your business, your small business, your SME, because you want to generate revenue and you're hoping to become profitable. Now, go back one step to revenue. That would only come when customers patronize you. So if you do not get the customers saying yes to your offer, if you do not get the customers saying, yes, I am willing to engage your service or buy your product, what's going to happen? That dream of yours to become profitable is going to be far-fetched. But hopefully that wouldn't be the case, because we've got techniques that you need to learn about that you can use to get them to say yes. Now, a good way to look at this is look at your everyday life. You tell someone something, you have conversations with your friends, with your partner, with your spouse, and you want them to what? Take your own point of view, to see things from your perspective. You're trying to do something, you're trying to persuade them or convince them. Or let's even look at another scenario here. You've got a couple, a man and his spouse. Before he married that lady, he proposed and she had to say yes. But did she just say yes because he popped the ring? No, she must have said yes based on the antecedents of their relationship. Did she know him enough? Did she love him? Did she care? Did she think that he did the same things too for her? Absolutely. So now let's come back to your business. From the analogies I've given, you can see that for you to get customers to say yes, you need to be able to persuade them. You need to be able to convince them. That's the crux of the discussion here. But can you convince someone that you do not know? Can you convince someone that you do not have a relationship with? Can you convince someone who, you have no access to? Absolutely not. So let's dive into these 5 techniques. Technique number 1, know your customer. If you do not know the customer, how can you convince the customer to come buy from you? If you do not know the customer, how can you pitch your product or service to the customer? You need to know your customer. Knowing your customer is beyond the word knowing. It's you understanding the customer. What are their needs? What do they need? What is the problem that the customer has? What is his pain point? What is his challenge? What is his desire? And how can you, the business owner, match up? Once you understand that, it becomes easy to know what exactly to tell this customer to say yes, because you will be telling them stuff around their emotions, their pain, their desires, their challenges that will trigger them to buy. Point number 2, you need to create conversations. Yes, it is good to work with scripts. It's good to be scripted whilst you want to deal with your customers. But you do not want to sound so robotic. You have to be a bit fluid. So you have to create conversations, right? You want to ask questions. If you ask, you get answers. When you're asking questions, do not ask close-ended questions. You want to ask open-ended questions that will make the customers relax and more comfortable to tell you exactly how they feel. And say you have, you can ask questions in person, on phone, via email, and even on social media. You can even use the polls, the question stickers across social media to get the responses that you would want to hear from your customers. Now, what's point number 3? You do not want to sell functionalities. You want to sell the benefits of your service or product. The solution that you're bringing, once you put the benefits in the face of the customer, you dangle it like a bar of chocolate that you dangle in front of a child, the customer will be endeared towards you or would want to hear more, right? So do not sell functionalities and features but sell benefits, the gains, the advantages of dealing with you. Fourthly, technique number 4, you want to nurture relationships, right? Remember that when I was talking about point number 1, or before I delved into point number 1, I told you to think about a relationship between a couple. Same way, you see, you nurture a relationship from pre-sales to the sale period and post-sales. You're taking the customers on a journey. Your product or service is taking them to a destination, right? Maybe they want status, they want comfort, they want class, whatever it is, you're taking them to that point. So you have a responsibility to nurture a relationship with these customers right from the very start. From the point where you identify them as your target market, target customers, I beg your pardon, from when you get to know them, you just go with the flow from pre-sales to when the sales happens. And do not close the sale. Never, ever, ever close that sale. This is part of building the relationship. So they buy one time, you obviously can upsell to that customer again or switch products. So nurture relationships. And the 5th point, the last point, and I'm going to let you go right now, is this. You use follow up. I mean, sometimes you walk up to the customers, you send them emails, you try to have conversations. They may not be in the best frame of mind to make a purchase at that point. They may not have the financial capability to patronize you at that point in time. Or they may just be, not fully convinced at that point in time and not willing to buy right away. What do? You want to follow up. Do not follow up like, in a way where you're choking the customer, but you want to space it and then follow up intentionally to say, look, we have a conversation pending. What can we do? But here's what it is. I can assure you that if you tried these 5 things, maybe I should even ask you, which of these 5 have you been doing? Which one have you not been doing? If you know what you've not been doing, then you know what to do right now. Start to do it. But if you've not even done any one at all, that's okay. You can get started right this minute. So these 5 techniques will definitely set you up to get your customers to tell you yes. I do hope you found this insightful. Leave a comment. I'd love to read from you. And remember, if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the button so you don't miss juicy customer sales insights like this ever. See you around.